So guys, I went broke. I lost all of my money and I had to move back in with my parents out here in my hometown in Sweden, as you can see in the background. Not really. I know that's what some of you guys wish, which is kind of crazy to be honest, but yeah, that's not what happened. I'm out here back in Sweden, seeing family. Got some errands to run before I start heading out and traveling again. But I want to make this video talking about what it's like getting back into your hometown after you've made it. You know, I've hit $45,000 now while I've been away since I left Sweden. Last time I was here was in August of last year. And for me, it's definitely not making it. I definitely have bigger goals I want to hit, but for a lot of people, they would consider 40K, 45K a month as like a huge milestone. I definitely, it's a milestone for sure, but I have bigger goals I want to hit. But anyways, I want to talk about what it's been like coming back here. And also a big thing that I noticed when it comes to like the mental stuff that I've kind of worked on over these last couple of months that's helped me to come back here and have a very different experience. I always share my experience because I talk all about leaving your hometown and how it's one of the most important things you can do as a young guy to see success. And I still 100% believe that you should leave your hometown as a young guy to make that first 10, 20K a month, for sure. I know if I wouldn't have done that myself, I would not have hit that as quickly as I did within 3 months. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, like your internal state dictates everything. And one of the most important and one of the like key things I've noticed now coming back here and like seeing my parents being the same place that I grew up in, like the same people. I only got here like 2 days ago now, so I haven't like been with and met too many people so far. But from what I've seen coming back here, is like in the past when I came back to my hometown after going to Colombia to Medellin, I'll be struggling massively with like just falling back into old patterns, you know, old habits, staying up later and like just doing stuff I shouldn't be doing, just procrastinating and not being really locked in and just being focused about what other people think of me, as all these like low level, low frequency kind of emotion stuff where I would fall back into that. Now, what's happened is because of my internal work, because of like the mental work that I've gone through in terms of changing my own energy and changing my own frequency, I come back here and I just feel completely different. And it's very interesting. That's why I'm making this video, just talking about it, because I come back here and I'm so just locked in on what I'm doing. I'm so locked in on my mission and like the things I'm focused on, making more money and like scaling the stuff I'm doing with the sales teams that I manage. And it's like getting to my bigger income goals of hitting that 50K a month and then 60 and scaling beyond that. I'm so locked in on that these other like small things of like staying up late or and like procrastinating or like just watching like movies and series and things like that, or going out and like wasting time with people I shouldn't be with, like just doing these low level things that I used to do back in the day, I don't even like think about it. It doesn't even come to my mind. And there's been one key thing that I think has helped me do this I want to share with you so that you hopefully can apply in your own life as well. If you're in your hometown right now, you don't make enough money to leave, or if you just like in general struggle with like being locked in no matter where you are. So I think this can happen like anywhere that you are. And it's basically just realizing that when you're in a position where you're not really fully aligned with the mission that you're on, you're not fully aligned on like one clear thing you're working on. What happens to me every single time when I lose my mission, when I lose my like vision of what I'm working on, I always start worrying about the small things, you know, things like that might seem retarded, like food. I start worrying a lot about like, okay, what I'm eating and things like that. What other people think of me, and and this small, like completely like irrelevant things, like relationships and I'm not saying relationships are irrelevant, but like specific relationships, or worry too much about maybe like dating or like these other like networking things, like these small things that don't really, it's not really going to take me close to my goal of making the money I'm making. Sort of worrying a lot about those different things. And maybe you experience the same thing for yourself, like you worry a lot about, okay, what's this person going to think of me, or you start thinking about, if you're a guy, maybe you start overly focusing on dating, on women and chasing women and things like that, or you start focusing on like maybe partying, drugs, if you're into that shit, like which you obviously shouldn't be. And like this is destructional things, you know, this is things that you don't want to be focusing on. And why is that? Why do we fall into those patterns? I think for me, it's because like when I don't have this mission, I don't have this thing to just like obsess over, that's when my mind naturally goes to these other things. I think if you're like an entrepreneurial guy and like you're very driven and like hungry and like ambitious, you want to get stuff done, you naturally have this desire to pour all that energy into something. And if there's no mission, if there's no thing that you have, like one big thing that you put all that attention towards and work hard on, it naturally flows into these other destructional things. So knowing that has been so key, and this is something that I really seen like over the last year of my life. Because last summer when I was back home, I didn't have this, and that made my brain is like focused on all these like random things. And I'm not saying that I went in some crazy negative pattern, but I definitely wasn't as locked in. I didn't make as much money as I could be making at the time. which I honestly regret. If I could have gone back and during that time just locked in better and just focused on the mission, I would be making way more money than I'm making right now. So that's why I'm telling you this. So the takeaway here is realize that when you have one clear mission, one thing, like one task, for example, that you do every single day, one thing that you're focused on every single day. Where for me right now, that's sales management. You know, growing the sales teams that I manage right now, scaling those teams to a specific point. I know that if I get these teams and I build these teams and there's reps I have on those teams to a specific level, I will in the result be making 100K plus per month by doing that. So that's my focus. That's the one big thing that I'm focused on. And having that clearly defined for yourself and having that as your top priority above everything else, above hanging out with friends, above the food reading, about even like above even going to the gym and above traveling, like above everything else. It makes your life so clear. At least for me, it's giving me like this very just kind of peace of mind where I just know like every single day when I wake up, I have one clear focus. And that makes everything else kind of just fall into the rear view mirror, if that makes sense. Like everything just kind of falls out of, like you have this one big focus and everything else is like around us. It doesn't really matter. So if I hear like a comment from someone who thinks that I'm weird for doing what I'm doing, you know, like I don't give a fuck because I have this clear mission. If I have some like relationship thing that might be like an issue that I have to deal with at some point, it doesn't really become this huge thing because I'm so focused on the main mission. See what I mean? It's like this kind of like this tunnel vision where everything else just gets filtered out. And I think this is extremely powerful, especially like as a young guy right now, like having this one big thing. It helps me to just be very locked in on that thing and then everything else falls into place. That's the funny thing is it might seem like, okay, no, Alex, you're ignoring these other important areas. But what I've seen at this for myself, when I do this, I detach from everything else. I detach from, I guess the best example is, for example, relationships, or detach from like health, or detach from like food and like diet and training. But those things end up falling into place because I don't put all this mental attachment to it. And if you watch my channel, I talk about this all the time, like the law of attachment, you know, and it applies to business as well. But at least in my journey, I've seen that this is extremely, extremely accurate. When I focus more on it's like my mission and where I'm trying to go and the skills I'm trying to learn and the goals that I have there, relationships, training, fitness, health, everything naturally falls into place because I'm not putting 80% of my time into fitness, health, and relationships, etc. So I hope this makes sense. I think the takeaway for you is that get that purpose, get that one big thing that you're going after, that thing that wakes you up every single day, that like is a big challenge, that's hard, that takes a lot from you, that requires you to really be the best version of yourself, show up every single day, learn new things, challenge yourself, do stuff that's scary to do. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Like the goals I have, it requires me to invest in myself, to get mentorship and coaching for people that are better than me over and over again. I invest a lot of money the last couple of months into that. I do new things I haven't done before, learn new skills, learn leadership at different levels, learn how to handle new situations I've never dealt with before. Like I learn all these new things every single day, which allows me to grow massively, and that's that one big thing that just like stimulates your kind of, or my desire for improvement, etc. So find that thing for you. For a lot of guys, I think it's going to be learning something related to sales. And I'm not going to say that because I do it, it's because I've seen so many young guys that are kind of lost. And learning sales, it gives you the base for like anything you want to do. When you learn how to sell, or when you're learning how to sell, you get rejected, you have to learn how to communicate properly, like you learn all these different things when you're doing it. So it's a great place to start. Gain that as your one big thing that you're going all in on doing, and you will see so much development from focusing on that. And then you will notice that your life, everything else is going to kind of fall into place when you have that one big focus. So this video kind of went in a different direction from what you saw in the title probably, but this all ties back to me being back in my hometown. And I have this one big focus, right? One clear thing I focus on, which makes everything else fall into place. That's all for this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next one. Take care. Ciao.